So we're doing things a little bit different here today, guys. Usually I bring you the latest and greatest power tools to hit the market, but we're going a little old school. This is probably one of, if not the most iconic drill ever made, but not necessarily for the reason that you think. And just taking a look at this metal case, you can tell that this is old school. So what drill are we talking about exactly? Well, you know it's a Makita, but what makes it so iconic? Well, I'm going to tell you. This is the exact same model drill that Eddie Van Halen used in the video Pound Cake and was painted to match his iconic Frankenstrat guitar. Now, a quick backstory on how Eddie actually started using this for the video. His guitar tech was using the drill and actually left it on one of Eddie's amplifiers. Eddie seen it, picked it up, and it was actually in the same key as the song Pound Cake. And just in case you didn't know, this drill was also used by another iconic guitar player, Paul Gilbert, which played in the band Mr. Big. It was just nowhere near as cool when Eddie did it. So why exactly do we have the Makita 6012 HD drill here? Well, we're going to review it, and then we're going to make a second video. We're going to Frankenstein it just like Eddie's, and then I'm going to show you how to play the Pound Cake intro on the guitar using this drill. But before we get into it, it would be greatly appreciated if you could smash that like button if you like any part of this video. So the 6012 is an old school drill. The 6010 came out in 1978. But I could not find an exact date for the 6012. So if you know the date that this came out, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm guessing probably early to mid 80s, but what did I get in this kit? Now I bought this off of eBay. I spent about $40–50 with the shipping. You get two 9.6 volt batteries. Yep, those are the old NiCads. And if you take a look at these things, they're pretty big. You also get the charger. Now, when you put this on a charge, it takes probably about an hour and a half to get the charge on those batteries, which, you know, it's not back considering these are older batteries, but you can buy them new if you wanted to. I also got the original metal case, which is in excellent condition for the age. Also reminds me of my old lunch boxes, but the hardened foam in here, and then it's almost like a pot rivet or maybe a spot weld, and that keeps your tools from moving around. Very, very old school. And even though the plastic, believe it or not, is a better grade material than the old metal because they would damage and break and all that good stuff, it is just really cool to see that again. Now, as far as it goes with the batteries, you just flip that bottom piece out right here, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to do that. You wouldn't have to do it that often, but yeah, you know, it's not all that comfortable. Sort of hurts the fingertips a little bit if you don't do it right, but the battery slides right in there, and then you just close that lid right down on the bottom, and yep, got her open again. It's really easy to get those batteries in and out, by the way. Now on the bottom here, you have your selector dial. You got the 5 different settings, but I don't think this one's working all that great. I'm going to rip this thing apart, clean it out, re-grease it. I'm going to find out if there's something wrong with that. But that's how you did it back in the day. You just match it up with the arrow. You also had your forward and reverse. Again, a real pain in the butt. If you had to use this constantly, it would have drove me crazy. Now there's a little bit of gunk in there. Not a big deal. We're going to clean that out as well, but not the easiest. And then the trigger, well, you know, it's the trigger. And I'm going to let you know, this thing is extremely uncomfortable. If anything was ergonomically incorrect, this drill is it. But hey, what do you expect? This was the top-notch drill back in the day. You're only looking about 3.8 pounds with the battery in. It's just so awkward. It's heavy up on front. There's no grip. There's no curvature. Now, I know this is an impact driver on the left-hand side, but just check out the comparisons between the two and how far tools have come. You also have your low and high right up here on the top. You know, you got to reach in there and, you know, I don't have any nails, but whatever. But definitely the biggest issue is switching that reverse and forward. It's just hard to get in there. Everything's sort of in the way and it hurts your freaking fingers. Now your chuck key goes right up on top. I can't believe this even had that. For this drill being so old, I couldn't believe how well it was taken care of. Either they did not use it that much or they just really took care of their equipment. But we're going to pop our battery right on the bottom. We're going to open that up and it slides in. There's a little groove that it goes down into. You can see there's a little rail system right there. And when you put that in, it goes in oh so smooth and it just clamps down. Now the latching system on this drill works really, really well. Again, it's kind of a pain in the butt if you don't release it just right. Well, it hurts your fingers. But again, I think it just shows the quality of the Makita, you know, especially back in the day. These were the top dog drills back in the day, and we're going to put them to the test. But let's take a listen to it real quick. Again, it doesn't seem like the selector's working. I mean, it'll click, but you can, however, adjust that to low right up on the top. And for probably not having anything done to this for the last 30, probably longer years, it actually sounds pretty freaking good. As for the chuck, now I have seen these things online. Some of them are just beat up, but you can see there's not a lot of rust on this thing at all. Somebody did a really good job taking care of this. But what about power? Well, let's open this up. We're going to throw a 1/4 inch drill bit in here. We're going to tighten her down with our chuck key. And you know, you're just not used to using those on drills anymore, but we're going to tighten it down. We're going to go through a treated 4x4. We're going to see what it does. You're looking at about 400 max RPM on this drill. All right, so here we go. We're on the high setting. Definitely not what I'm used to power-wise, but let's do it at a different angle. All right, let me bring this down on a slower speed. We'll adjust that knob and we'll try it again. Now, even though it took forever to get down through that, remember, this drill is over 30 years old. Now, let's do one more side view here. You can hear that higher rev on that motor, and that is what gave this drill the sound on Eddie's guitar and through his amp. Now, even though you can use any drill impact driver on your guitar to get that sound, it's not going to sound the same that it would with this drill. Again, it's matched up to that song, and if you're looking for the original drill, this is the one you're looking for. You know, and with that metal chuck and just the way the gears are geared, you know, when that thing comes down on that amplifier and it goes, that is because it takes a little bit longer for this thing to stop. So it is just such a cool, iconic drill to have. Now, because this struggled a little bit, you know, I'm gonna say it's because it's an old drill, right? It's an old type of drill. It's old batteries. You know, back in the day, I didn't even have anything this nice. You know, my parents, my father had the corded stuff, right? So this was top notch back in the day. You know, Makita really is the innovator of tools. They came out with a lot of this stuff first before anybody else. You got to give that to them. And for it to even be able to do what I did with it, I was kind of shocked. I really thought the batteries were just going to drain right out with the first pull of the trigger, and it just didn't do that. But looking at that older technology, just the comfort of it and the weight distribution, it was just, I know it was great back in the day, but wow. From the newer stuff today to that, I don't know how anybody used this long-term use. You know, it is just not a comfortable drill. And none of them were. It wasn't just Makita. None of them were. They were just meant to get the work done, and that was it. So I'm curious, have you ever used the 6012 HD? You know, if you did, what did you think about it? Do you have one now? I'm curious. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Now, later this weekend, we're going to Frankenstein this thing up. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you don't miss it. I think it's going to be a really cool video. And again, if you could smash that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, we'll be back with more videos soon.